Welcome to today's class, everybody. I hope you guys are fine and you're excited to be in this class. This class will be more of a practical class. We would start building lots of projects from now. So everybody would get acquainted and familiar with my thought process, or at least basic thought process to building simple apps or simple APIs that people can use. So we are going to look at building a simple quiz game with Express and MongoDB. So you guys already know a quiz now. The quiz game is going to allow admins add questions to MongoDB that the users can actually answer. And yeah, a very simple quiz game app. It's not going to be anything too complex. So what we are going to see, how to create users and admins, how to add questions, how users can answer questions. So we'll see how the method of asking questions, and then we'll also check how the users can also answer those questions, right? Then summing answers and recording the score, and so on and so forth. So let's check that out. Okay. Now, what I'll just need to do is I'll need to go to VS Code and open up the last project we did. So let me do that now. I know you guys may not see my screen, but I'm going to reshare my screen very soon, so you guys will see all I'm doing. Okay, so let me reshare my screen. I think I should just share the entire thing, the entire screen for sometimes. Then I'll go back to sharing the basic screen. Okay, so remember last time we talked about populate and sorry, we talked about how to populate, yeah, and we also talked about paginate, right? Remember, when we are checking a list of products, we can paginate it, we can skip and limit, or we can decide to use something different. We can decide to use Mongo's paginate v2, that library. Okay, so today we are going to build a quiz app. So let's see. Let me close this out. Let me do what I did yesterday, because this is another isn't it? So simple quiz, do that. Of course, it generates simple quiz for us. Then I can right click and okay, I can't open with VS Code. Yes. So remember that script I showed you guys that you can use to just automatically and so I guess this is big enough. So first, we are not using any view engine, so we have to remove this view engine setup. We are not using that. For the views too, we are not using the views folder, so we need to also delete that. Then we can do this. Now, look. If you're going to build let's say an API that is going to have different versions, let's take an example, right? Let's say you're building a banking app, right? And then you're building an API for a banking app. Maybe that API is going to be used by a mobile uh, uh, app, right? A banking mobile app and also a website. And you know that most times they might need upgrade to a certain endpoint, or one endpoint might exist for different version of the phone or for different version of the app, right? You need to version your API in such a way that if someone is using maybe an old version of that your same that same banking app, and someone is using a newer version, the older version should still work perfectly well. The newer version should also work perfectly well, right? So one thing you might want to do is you might say /v1, maybe the first version is /v1, you say /v1. Maybe if they require that, oh, we need this same route, right? Maybe this same set of routes, but we don't want the former one to break. We want the former one to still work well, but we method they want to withdraw money, which or enable their customers withdraw money, which is maybe faster. I'm just using an example. So you might do something like this, maybe /withdraw, maybe v2 /withdraw. So maybe the newer mobile app would use this v2, the older ones would maybe use this v1, right? And then everything will still work well. So doing this, right? Doing this versioning is going to help you with your API. It's going to enable you build APIs that can scale, right? Easily. So that was by the way. So now what we'll do is I'd say first, what I would want to build is I want to say app.auth, .use. Then I would say this should be /v1 /auth, right? And then I would, in this route, create an auth. In fact, what I like doing is I just come and duplicate that. I can call that auth, right? And auth should have register and login. Auth should have register and login. So I'll say post maybe register and login, but then let's still come back here. Let's come and create that Mongo database stuff. So what we'll come here, we'll say npm install mongoose. Then here we could say const mongoose equals to require mongoose. Okay, mongoose is not installed yet, of course. Then what else can we do? We can start with authentication. We can say /register. Then registering here, we can say we want it that you should send in your, so I'd say const req, okay, your full name, your email, your password, right? We know that that's what we need to register. To log in, I'll just copy that. I'll say to log in, you just need only your email and your password. So after logging in, you get your JWT for, then this users here would be for every user. Then I'll create, okay, wait, this is index. I'll just rename this to admin.js, and we have admin user, we have auth. So admin is going to contain all the routes that admin should be able to use. Auth is going to contain authentication routes, like to log in to register, while users is going to contain the routes that users can use. Okay. Then the next thing we should do is we should try to connect Mongoose. So say Mongoose, we would say mongoose.connect. Then we would say this is MongoDB localhost at 27017 / quiz game. Then of course then catch. Of course, we could say connected to DB. Connected to database. Here we could say an error occurred. So now this is one thing. In fact, the last time I did something like this, right, was, I don't know, maybe like last 2 years. Like, I mean, trying to set up a project from scratch. What you will do as a programmer mainly is you will have a set of files, right, that you set up automatically. It's already connected to database. It already has authentication on it. It has authorization. It has all the utilities, maybe to generate OTP, to send email and everything. You have all those things intact. So if you want to start a project, right, you don't just need to write these things from scratch again. What you just need to do is you just need to duplicate that code, and then you start from where you want to start from. Maybe highest you would do is just change the name of the database, maybe, and some other few things. So that is where the env file comes in. So there's a file called env file. We are going to use it. I think we've used it before, but I'll show you how to use it. So all the things that you know that you will change per project, you move them to the env file. So once you want to spin up a project, you just go to the env file, change what is supposed to be changed, and then you continue on your project. So we can see an error occurred. Then we can see error. Of course, I'll need to pass error here. Yeah, we need to pass an error there. Then, of course, I like to also do this where I'm listening to my ports. I can also say server started. Ports, yeah. Then so let's now, what do we need to do next? I hope you guys are still there. What do we need to do next? What we need to do next now is we need to write the models for our quiz app, because that's what, oh, okay. First, we need to link this up, right? So let's see how we can link it. So we know admin is admin router. We know that users is still users router. We know that auth is still auth router. Okay. So we have users is already user router. Auth is supposed to be auth router. And then admin is going to be the admin router. Beautiful. We've linked that up. Now we need to create a model folder. So just call it models. I would also need to create a middleware folder. I could call it auth folder or middleware. middleware folder. So models folder is going to contain all the models we need. Middleware is going to contain the middlewares we need. And now we need a middleware to verify if you're logged in. That's one. Then the second middleware is to check if you're a user or if you're an admin. So if users try to query the admin's endpoints, it's not going to work, right? It will bounce that request back. It won't allow that request to pass. So let's start with the models. Let's create a new file. We'll call this users model.js. Then we will come here and say const mongoose should be equals to require. I think I'll just have a template since I've done this setup over and over again. So I will need to do it again from, let's say, from our next class. Then here, what I would say is const user schema. User schema should be equals to new mongoose schema. Of course, every user is going to have a full name. And they are going to have a full name. They are going to have an email. Now, okay, so this is another thing we can do. I can decide to have users model for only users. I can decide to have admins model for for only admins, or I can decide that all the users, if all the users have, like, all the user types have the same fields, I can decide to use the same model for the two users, but then I'll need to give them a role. So what I'll do is I'll use the same for all the users and I'll give them a role. So I'll say this email should be a type of string and it's required also. Okay, then password. In fact, let me just copy this. Password would be a type of string. Then what else do we need? Since I want to use this user model for both users and for both admins, so what I'll do is I would say the role of this person, right? So I could say this should be a type of string. Required is true. But we want to have only two types of users, right? And if you try to create a different type of user, right, it shouldn't allow you to do so. So we can say, no, we can remove this default of true and required of true, and we can say default should be user. Another thing we can do is we can declare the different types of values that the role can keep or the role can hold. So we can say enum. The enum type is used to declare, is used to enumerate or to list out the type of or the value that the role can actually hold. So if we say user and we say admin, so if any user trying to register tries to create a different kind of role, it won't work. Okay, so what else do we need to do? We've created a user model, we need to create a quiz model, right? So I can just duplicate this and call it quiz model. But we are not done with our users model. We are not done. We are supposed to say const user model should be equals to mongoose.model, and then the model name is going to be users, and then the schema is going to be user schema. Come on. Yes, and also we would say that the timestamps is true. We are expecting timestamps. Oh, this is for quiz model, sorry. So I'll copy this. Sorry, I made a little mixed up. So this is supposed to be times through, yeah, for the user schema. Then the quiz model, we can have this. For the quiz, we can have a question. We can have option A, we can have option B, we can have option C and option D. And we can also have what is called the correct option. The correct option can hold any of this in string. So, what did I do? So this could be option A, option B, option C, and option D. Yes. So it could be like that. Then um what else do we need to do? Okay, we need to have a quiz history. So the quiz history is just going to contain the dates you made the dates you did the quiz and the score you had, right, for that quiz. So I could have a quiz history model. Okay, okay, quiz history model. So there we just have the score. Finish. And we can decide to save. We can decide to save the questions. Okay, yeah, we can decide to do that. So we can say questions, and then the questions will just simply be an array. So we'll just say array. Yep. So an array of whatever it wants to be. So, you know, when you're answering a question also, you need to store it temporarily somewhere. So as you're answering, we know that this is the question, this is the user, and this is his option, the option he chooses. So we can also do that, right? We can say active quiz model. So the active quiz model is going to contain so wait, this is supposed to be quiz history schema.
I was about asking that question.
Yeah, okay. So this is supposed to be quiz history. That's supposed to be quiz history. This quiz model is supposed to be quiz schema. And then here is supposed to be the quiz model. Okay. Then of course, everything about user is okay. User model, quiz schema. Okay, then quiz history. Yeah, quiz history model. This is supposed to be quiz history. And of course, we would say module.export equals to quiz history model. We'll do the same thing for users. We'll say module.export equals to user model. Then here we have quiz model. So we'd say module.export equals to quiz model. Yes. Then active quiz model is going to be active quiz. Active quiz schema. Then we would say module.export active quiz. Active quiz model. So let's see. So active quiz model is going to contain the question. The question here is going to be the question ID. So this would be mongoose dot types dot object ID. The reference is going to be we are going to this is quiz model. So this is going to be quiz. So this quiz is where we have the question option and everything. So we are going to refer it to the, where is it? Active quiz. Yes. Yeah. So we are going to reference the quiz model, right? So say quiz here. So this question will contain everything. This question will contain all that has to do with the question. In fact, let me just call this quiz at once. Quiz, and then I'll say option chosen. Okay, so we have quiz, we have the option that the person has chosen as string. So I think we are good to go. Okay, so now what we will need to do is we will need to start creating the routers. So first off, we want the users to be able to register now. So we'll say await user schema user model dot create, but we'll say that const hashed password should be equals to I didn't install bcrypt here, so I'd say bcrypt npm install bcrypt. So while installing bcrypt, I'd say yeah, bcrypt equals to, I hope you guys can still hear me. Can you guys still hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay. Bcrypt. Yeah, I'm just waiting for this to finish installing. So while that is installing, we already know that we have full name, email. We have that password with the hashed password. Of course, this is going to be an async function so that this is not going to quarrel with us. Then, of course, to make this more sophisticated, right? You can decide to check if the email already exists. Now, if I want the email to be unique, so no two users should have the same email or should use the same email. This is what I can do. I can come to the users model, and here on the email object, I could say unique true. So this unique tree is going to make sure that no two users on this collection, on this model or collection can have the same email. So let's come back here. Now, so even if I don't check if the email already exists, right? It's going to raise an error if a duplicate email is trying to be created. So I'll say hash sync. So hash sync is going to be the password, and then I'll just say gen salt sync. Gen salt sync to generate the salt that is going to be used to hash. This is going to be 10. I like using 10. Then we've done this, and then we can then respond. What's the status code for created? Who can tell me?
So why did you use gen salt sync? You were using just 10 before.
Yeah, whether you use the gen salt sync or not, right? It's going to, so what's this gen salt sync? What does it do? It just, I think it generates, where is it? This gen salt sync generates a hash also that can be used to, it generates a salt. What is called salt? I don't know. Is used to enable hashing your password or hashing whatever I want to hash, right? It's just one random set of, I think, bytes or so that's being generated that it's used to hash your your password. So this salt, right? I think the way it's being done is that when a salt is generated, it's hashed, or I don't really know how to explain it, but just know that even if you don't use 10, even if you don't use gen salt sync and you just pass a digit here to this hash salt sync, it's still going to work. You don't really need to, I think if you pass the 10 directly, it will generate the salt, or it will generate that what it needs to hash the password and then hash it. But then if you want to generate the salt externally and then pass it to this hash sync for it to use at once, you can actually go the other route. We are good with this, right? So there's no need for us to, we can do it the other way. It's still fine. It will still work perfectly well. You can do it this way.
Hello, sir.
Yeah.
That means 10 or gen sort sync is just a constant variable.
No, you can make this, you can, this is not going to always be 10. Now, the higher the number, the harder it is for them to unhash the password, right? Because remember what I told you guys the other time. If you pass 10 here, right? The password, right, is hashed like 10 rounds, or should I say 10 times. So it's hashed the first time, the result produced is hashed again, the result produced is hashed again, and so on and so forth. That goes on for 10 times. It's still the same if you use generate salt sync and you pass 10. It's still the same thing that is going to happen. So even if you pass 5. So now, why you might want to be careful about this one is the higher number you pass in there, the more computing power you need to hash that password. Because if you pass 20, it means you're telling the computer to do it to go through the hash rounds 20 times. So if your computer is not fast enough, while trying to register, right, your hashing might hang for some times. Or yeah, the hashing might hang, maybe
Okay.
extend the time at which you're supposed to register. So 10 is fair. If you want to increase it, you can. So I would say 201 here created. Then to log in, of course, I didn't install JSON web token. Oh, I just wrote install. npm install JSON web token. So here, when we are trying to log in, we would first find the user. This should be an async function. So we'll say await user dot user model find one. So I didn't explain the different kinds of queries. Okay, there's find one, there's find by ID, there's find by ID and update, there's find one and update, there's find many, there's update many, there's delete many, there is count documents. This was usually count before, but they changed it to count documents. Count was deprecated, so they changed it to count documents. There is there's find by ID and delete. There's find one and delete. There is distinct. And it's this. So let me check. There's distinct. Yes, there's distinct. So yeah. So find is always going to return an array, because find is assuming that what you're looking for is might occur more than once. So it's going to return an array. Even if it finds even if what you're looking for occurs only once on the database collection you're looking for, you're searching that thing, value for, it is going to still return an array. Find one is going to always return one, or at least it's going to always return the first occurrence of what you're looking for. Find by ID is always going to also return one, so find by ID is always going to return one, like it's going to return an object. So find by ID is definitely going to return one, because it's two records, right, on your collection, or two documents on your collection can't have the same ID. So it's always going to return one. Find one is going to return one. Find by ID and update is going to find by ID and update. Find one is going to find the first occurrence of your query and update it with what you want. Update many is going to update all the occurrence of what you're searching for. Delete many is going to delete all the occurrence for what you're looking for, right? Count documents is going to return a number, which is the count of the document you're looking for. Find by ID and delete is going to find by ID and delete. Find one and delete is going to find the first occurrence of what you're looking for and delete it. Then distinct is going to select distinct. Like, for example, you can say now distinct is mainly used with find. So you can say find all admins, but you don't want how do I put it? Find all admins, but maybe you want their age to be distinct. So you want maybe, let's say for example, if you're saving their age, you can say distinct age. So it won't, if there are, let's say, 3 users that have the same age, it will only return one of those users, the first occurrence of that user, and then it's going to move to another age. So distinct is going to select distinctly. So if you say you're finding name and you're selecting distinct names, so well, if you do that, it's not going to return the same name twice. So that's how distinct works. So you would mainly want to use distinct together with find. You can say dot find dot distinct. So dot find dot distinct. Yeah, dot distinct. So that's how you might want to use that. Okay, so let's go on. We'd say we are looking for a user with that email. If the user does not exist, so if the user does not exist, we want to respond with a message and with a status code of 404. Message is that user not found. Then if the user exists, now remember, don't forget to add your return. You get why? Then if the user exists, you would want to say const passwords match equals to, now this is where you compare the password, decrypt dot compare sync, and then you would say the password from the user, which is password, and then you want to compare that password with the password gotten from the database. So that's user details dot password. Sure. So if the passwords don't match, so you can now say if, now you can say if passwords match equals to false, or more professionally, you can say if that, so if passwords match, then this would be false. If password doesn't match, then this would be true. Then you can say maybe 441, 43, maybe 400, anyone. You can say password is incorrect. So this is a security, it's not, you can just say invalid details. You can say invalid details here also. Okay, but we'll leave it like that. So if the password is correct, then we would want to say we want to create a token. So if the token would be equals to did I say bcrypt? So this would be const jwt equals to require show for require JSON web token. So down here you can say jwt.sign. So sign is going to be used to create that's what you want. Then how do we sign? So wait, npm install .env. Let me come back here. I want to use .env const require .env.config. Yep. So because I've done that, I can create a file called .env now and use it as usual. Why I'm doing that is because I want to save what I would use to sign every token, which is supposed to be a secret. So I would say sign JWT, and what do I want to sign in my JWT? I want to sign the user's detail minus the password. So I would say full name should be user details dot full name, email user details dot email. Yeah, no need to say password. Password is just for logging in, to just prove that you are who you say you are. The role, yes. Then after that, I will tell you welcome. Const, I would say, sorry, I don't know why I like using const. res.send. I would say message login successful. User details. User details is going to be
So what of the auth key to decrypt the token?
yeah, definitely. I'll add it. I haven't forgotten. I'll add it. So I'll do that, and then I'll say the token here. So I've added that token. So we have register, login. Login is actually long. So email, yeah, beautiful. Now we have that, right? The next thing we need to do is, after when you're able to log in, you should be able to start using endpoints here, but the endpoints have to be protected. So let us write that middleware to protect. So first, we'll write the first middleware. So I'll create a middleware. The first middleware is going to be to check or to verify your JWT, or yeah, to verify auth. So I'll just call it verify auth.js. Of course, what do I want to verify? Look, I want to verify if your I want to verify if I can actually use the token, right? Or get details from the token that you're going to send back. So I could say verify auth should be equals to req res next req res next. Then we are going to say that the token should be equals to okay, this would be the token and strategy. Token and strategy is going to be req dot headers dot authorization. Then, of course, we will need to split by space. Dot split. Want to split by space.
Token and strategy. Like why?
You say?
I mean, is it a convention to call it token and strategy? Like, why is it like
Well,
that?
okay. Well, I think I should even say it is strategy and token, right? But if you whatever I want to call it, you can call it. But the reason why I'm calling it that way is now, if you're working, if this was a real life project, right? And let's say you were working on it, and eventually let's say you left the company and you moved to another company, right? Someone else is going to read your code. you don't want that person to get so confused reading your code, right? You want it that the person should just look at your code and be like, okay, this is what this person means. Even if the person doesn't understand what you've written here, but when the person sees token and strategy and token, the person knows that, okay, whatever is here should be like a bearer token. Okay. That should work. So yeah, it's not really that it's enforced, but you should always name your variables properly to give more context on what you're talking about. So I'd say strategy. So I could say strategy should be equals to strategy and token at the index of 0. But then the token itself or token should be equals to the strategy and token at the index of 1. Then after doing that, what else? So the next thing I want to do is I'll use bcrypt. Did I say bcrypt? I'll use JWT. So I'll say JWT equals to, now there's something we've missed. There's something we've missed. After signing, what is the secret that we are using to sign it? So we'd say process.env dot we can say it is auth secret. So why you say why I'm specifying it in capital letters? It's a convention I like using, right? When I want to create any variable, any env variable, I like the name of that variable to always be in this format. So I could say that the auth secret should be some random set of characters, because of course a key is not supposed to be something that you should easily read. You can actually generate maybe random characters on your own. It doesn't really matter. So here I'll just say, yeah, the auth secret should be process.env.secret. Then here to verify. Then also here to req dot.
Sorry, please, can you go back to where you have the random characters? I think you moved from.
Okay, I'm coming. Okay.
Okay, that's the env. Okay.
Yeah. So that's the env. So let's say here while we are trying to verify, you see that already setting up, right, is one part of it, right? So to skip this part, you can just have everything already done. Then you can say if strategy dot to local lowercase is equals to bearer. Then what you want to do is you want to take the token itself and verify it. So you can say const the user details is equals to bcrypt. Oh, sorry, did I say JWT dot verify? And then you say you want to pass in the token itself, and then the secrets req dot process dot env dot auth secret. So now what I'm doing here is I'm saying I want to verify the person. This is the key I used to sign the token, right? So if this is the same key I used to sign the token, then if you're giving me that same token back, this same key should be able to be used to verify this token, right? After verifying, the details of the token, which is if we check here, when we signed, we said that the full name, the email, and role should be inside that token. Sorry about that. So if we come back here, we are saying that we want to, that the user details is going to contain those things that we signed. So then we can then decide to say req dot user details should be equals to user details. Then we can say we should call our next because you have succeeded. Then else, if you don't have this bearer, right? Or if it's, even if it is bearer, right? If I can't, so what we can do is we can say that if there is a user detail, so if user details, if there is valid user details, then we can call the next. Else, we should bounce you back like bouncer. We should bounce you back. We should tell you res dot status maybe 403 dot send. The send would be would have a message that you are okay. Maybe we could say user details is empty for the token provided. Okay, then here we might still use this. We might still use this, but then we would say you are not authorized. Beautiful. So we've done that. The next thing for us to do is to export this. So say module.export verify auth. Then so I think we should just start testing already for the admin. Okay, so let me create a route he can add quiz. So I would say quiz for him to add a quiz. So the quiz will always contain, remember, quiz model, quiz is going to, oh, okay. Okay, so look, quiz model is not, okay, yeah, quiz model is going to contain the correct option, yes. Don't mind me. We'll say question, option A, option B, option C, option D, correct option. We can do that here. So we can say const that would be equals to req.body. Then in here we can say quiz model. Okay, so this would be async await quiz model dot create, and of course I'll just pass this in there. So you can actually use, there's a library called Joy which can be used to implement validation. So you can check if question has a minimum length of 3 letters, then that shouldn't be a valid question. All those kind of things, right? You can do that. So then what else is remaining? So after creating the question, you would want to send. So status first. Status could be 201. Then you'd say dot send, and the send here you'd say message. The message is going to be quiz created. Okay. Then, of course, router dot get. You can get your quiz. So another thing I would like to do is a quiz can have a number, right? So we can do this. We can say here on the quiz model, we can say the quiz or the question number. Now, it depends on you. It depends on what you want to achieve. If I don't put the question number, the quiz will still function very well. But someone can answer one question like 5 times and it will record it. So we can say question number should be a number and it's required. So then so let's see, admins can add quiz. Admins should be able to see quiz. So get all the quiz. Let me just copy this at once. I don't want to waste too much time. Paste it. I would say
Are you not adding the question number to the model?
You say?
Are you not going to add the question number model?
Okay, yeah. Thank you. Okay, then I'll just say so let me install Mongoose paginate v2 right there. So I'll say paginate so I can get a paginated form of my questions. Please, I'll say page limits. Of course, I know that doesn't exist yet, so I'll say limit here. Then I could also say that page and limit should be req dots from, it should come from req dot params. Then I could say const quiz or quiz list. Then back here, I can just send the quiz list there. So quiz list. Of course, we can also get a single quiz. We can say maybe quiz by ID. Then here we have the ID. So here we can say find one, and no, not find one, find by ID. So now what's the difference between find one and find by ID? If we say find one, right, what we are going to pass in here is an object. So we can say underscore ID is equals to ID. So we can find one where the ID is that ID. We can find one where the quiz option is that option, or But if we are saying find by ID, it means you can only find by that ID, right? So instead of passing an object here, you pass the ID itself at once. Then you would say maybe quiz, maybe quiz result or quiz. I think we should just create that to allow the admins to view it. Then for the users, the users should be able to get questions. So maybe quiz, and then you're going to get it by the number. So quiz number. I could also make the quiz number unique if I want to, depends. Yes, no two quiz should have the same number, right? So I could say unique, so that you won't add a question with a question number twice, with the same question number twice. So you can get a quiz by a quiz number. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to say quiz should be equals to quiz model dot find one, or find by ID, and the ID is going to be quiz. Is going to be sorry, this is supposed to be find one, where the quiz number or is it question number? Yeah. Then the question number is so I'll just do this. I would say question number should be equals to req.params, which is that question number. Then we can say res.send quiz. No, so now, and that thing is, you might see, instead of saying res.send, you might see res.json, right? JSON can be used to send just JSON, right? Which is an object you pass in here. res.send can be used to send string, can be used to send number, can be used to send JSON. Okay. So we can do that, and we can decide to answer a quiz. Now, look, there are still a lot of things we need to set up. Now, for this quiz model, remember that, yes?
Please, I just want to find out what is always the usefulness of this req.params.
Okay. Okay, so I've seen another question. You can, yes, you need to push your bin folder to GitHub. Yes, the only thing you shouldn't push to GitHub is your env and your node module folder. The rest can be pushed to GitHub. Now, Mr. Celestine, you're asking what this params is used for. Okay, now look at this.
Yeah.
How you know that this quiz number here is going to be dynamic, which means the person might send a request to /quiz /20 or /quiz /500. So now, this part of this code that has to do with having this semicolon, having this colon here and this variable is the parameter. So this part of this code is the parameter. So now, when you declare a parameter in your route, in your code, if you want to get the parameter, you say, now this what I've written here is the same thing as me writing this. Is the same thing as me writing question number should be equals to req.params.question number. What I've written here is exactly the same thing as what is written here, but this is the short form of writing the same thing. So instead of me writing it in full like this, I rather write it this short way.
Okay.
Yes. Do you have any other question?
For now, no.
So we can say our router dot post to answer a question. So I would say answer a question. Oh, sorry, this would be await, and this would be an async function. Then out here, I would say async function req res next. Then what I will do here, what I will need for now. So when you answer a question, the question is supposed to go to the active question tab, right? And of course, the choosing option should be amongst the list of choosing options that is available. So what I'll just do is I can just copy this enum, enum, come here to the active quiz and paste it. Short and simple. Then come here, or sorry, come to the users. When you're trying to answer a question, this is what you just supply. So quiz, now we need to also save the user's detail to know which particular user is answering the question at a time, because different users can be answering questions at the same time. So I could say that user should be this type, but this is going to be users. Abi, let me see what I wrote here. Users, yeah, so this is going to be users. So quiz history model is going to contain the questions, the score, and the user that answered that question or that answered that quiz. So where is it? So, okay, for active quiz, I said user. So I'll just copy that and paste it here because we also need to know the user that answered that question. Okay, so let's come back here. So now let's look at this. We've created this auth to verify if you're logged in and the rest, but we are not using it yet. Even for the admin, we are not using it. So I should remove this. So what we'll do is we'll now say router dot use, and we want to use verify auth. So I've imported it now. So before you can add a quiz, it's going to check if you're logged in. But this one is just to check if you're logged in. Whether you're an admin or a user, you can still add quiz. So now I'll create another one that will check if you are actually an admin. So look at this. Let me also do the same thing here. Let me add that auth to check if you're logged in. So I'll say router.use. I would say verify auth. Then we've added that. So let's see what else we can do. Let me just complete this one. So when you answer a question, we need some things from your request body. So we need the question ID, because we would save it here. We would save the quiz. So this quiz will contain everything about that quiz. Would save your user, that's the user detail. Then we'll save the choosing option. So the two we need now is the quiz and the choosing option. So we come here, we'll just say we need the quiz, which is the quiz ID, and we will need the choosing option. So we'll say await
Okay, async function. Okay.
you say?
No, continue.
Okay. Active quiz model dot create. Active quiz model dot create, and we want to create the quiz, the chosen option. Okay, the option chosen, not chosen option. So I'll rename that. Then the user. Oh, wait a minute. So while we were signing, right, we were supposed to include the user ID, user details dot underscore ID. It's very important because the user it might be possible that we make the user, allow the user change his email and every other thing, but the user ID will never change unless that account is being deleted. So we have all these. Let's come here. So
Hello, sir.
yes, I'm listening to you.
Is what is used to make the ID static, or
You say what?
that it will not
What
change?
did you say? I didn't get you. Okay, so I think you're asking about the user ID. The user ID
It
is
will not change.
generated by. Okay, can you mute? Let me explain. The user ID is being generated by the database, right? So since it's generated by the database, it's going to remain that way, right? You don't need to change it. It's just going to be that value unless that user is being deleted. So we can then say user should, right? I think it's user, yeah, user should actually be req.user details dot user ID, because I'm very sure that the user ID will now be in that user details when it's being decrypted. So when you do that, you can say const we'd say res.send, and we would say message answer recorded. Then we would create another route to mark. So there will be a route to mark your answers, right? So if you're correct, if you're wrong, and then move them to active quiz model. So this is what we'll do. We'll say router.post. Then we'll say mark quiz. So when you try to mark quiz, what we are doing would say that first we want to pick all your quiz, but we'll populate the quiz. So remember that active quiz model has quiz and has user, right? So we would want to populate the quiz part. So we would say const active quiz. Active quiz should be equals to await active quiz model dot find. Want to find where the user, right? Because the active quiz has a user. So yes, we want to find where the user is, the current user that is trying to mark the quiz. So which is req.user details.user ID. So when we find it, we want to populate, but we want to populate the quiz, this quiz, not this one. We want to populate this property, right? So come here, we'll say we want to populate the quiz property, but I don't really want to know the question now to that quiz. Or let me see for the quiz model, what are the things okay. I don't really want to know the quiz number, right? I'll just save. I just want to know the question, the correct option. I think the question and the correct option would be okay. I don't really want to know what other options were there that you did not choose. So, or I could just say I don't want the question number alone. So I could come back here, I'll say while returning the quiz that you should remove the question number for me. I don't want that. Then, how do we mark them? So we can say each question carries 10 marks. So we can say const total marks should be equals to 0. Then down here we can say for each question of active questions, or sorry, active quiz. So for let questions of active quiz, we can then say, sorry, this should be let. We can then say that if, so now active quiz is going to come with what? It's going to come with quiz, and then the quiz is going to contain a correct option, right? The quiz model, we have correct option. So we can say that if question dot quiz dot correct option is equals to question dot what? Dot the option chosen, that we should increase total marks. Then we can also say that the total questions, maybe we can decide to just increase your mark, and then maybe we might send you the total number of questions you answered correctly. So let's total number or total correct questions was 0. Then total incorrect questions. So each time you have +10, we would increase this by 1. Each time you don't have any +10, which means you had a wrong answer, we increase the total incorrect questions by 1. Then at the end of the day, we can tell you your summary, right? We can say const correct. What do you okay. So we can send total marks, total incorrect question, total correct question back to you. You can also decide to even send the whole active quiz to you for you to see what you did.
So are we
Okay.
still adding an incorrect question?
Yeah.
Check
So
in,
you
I thought it should be minus total incorrect
no.
question.
Okay. Yes, I want you to note the total amount of correct questions. So if you have total number of correct questions to be, let's say you answer 10 questions, right? And then your total correct questions is like 7. It means you answer 3 incorrect. So this
Yeah.
incorrect number of questions will hold the number of questions you didn't answer correctly.
Okay.
Hey, boss,
Yeah. Yeah.
I have a general question.
Okay.
So now, if the backend person is doing all of this, what will the front end developer now?
Okay. So the front-end developer is going to be concerned with wow. He's going to be concerned with writing the interface, making it totally interactive, showing the questions, like maybe he's going to be keeping track of the question, like maybe if the user is supposed to answer like 10 questions, right? On the 10th question, he should submit the last question and then query the route to mark the quiz and then show the user the answer to his question. And it's also going to, if I want to do the front end of this, right? So the front end developer is also going to build the front end to this particular platform. So I hope I've answered your question. So have I answered your question?
Boss, you have, no worry, you have.
Yeah, so there is still a lot that he's going to do. It's not like all these things you are doing here. I know another reason why you might be asking that question is this can be done by the front end, right? This can be done.
Exactly, yeah.
Yes, I know. I totally understand. This can be done by the front end, but the reason why I wouldn't want this to be done by the front end is first, we don't have any front end here, right? Anybody that's going to consume this on the front end. 2, I want to note these things down and then save it in the quiz history model. So I'll do that. So I'll say the total answered questions. I'll just send this back. Total answered questions. I think I'll make this S2. Then I can also say, where is it? Where is it? Where is it? Where is it? I can also say that quiz history. Quiz history that I want to create. I want to create that quiz history model. And quiz history model contains the score. I could put the total incorrect questions, total correct questions. This is supposed to be number. Yeah, I think I can do that also. So I'll say total correct questions, total incorrect questions. There. Where is it? On the quiz history model, you can just paste that there. Paste. Paste. Yep. Then so I could say, where is it? Quiz history model, score, total incorrect question, total correct questions, question user. That's what I need. Then here I could just paste that in. So the score is going to be the total marks. The total correct questions is already there. The total incorrect questions is there. The questions is going to be this active quiz. Then the user is going to be req.userdetails.user ID. Right. Then another thing I want to do is I would want to clear the active quiz. So after I've done this, I would want to clear it. So I could say I would want to say active quiz dot delete many. So delete many for the questions that user answered, so that if in case he wants to start answering the questions again, he can do it. So we've done this. The last thing we need to do is we need to create that middleware to separate the admins from the users. So we can say role-based auth.js. Then here we can say const role allowed. The role allowed can be, so this would be an array of strings. So I would say roles. Then I'll return an async. Okay, this is supposed to be equal to async. So this is going to be req res next. So here I'm saying, okay, this one is quite simple. I'll just say if roles dot includes the req dot user details dot user id, sorry, dot role. So if the array of rows include the user detail role.
Check the spelling, user.
Yeah, I've checked that, user details dot role. So I'll wrap this in an if statement. So I'll say if that is true, then I'll call the next straight up. And then else, if that is false, then I would want to res dot status is going to be 403 dot send. Your role can't access this route. So I'll just say message. Your role can't access this route. Then I would export it. So I would say module.export equals to role allowed. I would say roles allowed. Yes, because it's an array. Roles allowed. So now what this is doing is I can pass into this function that I only want admin to access a particular set of rows. So if you are not admin, which means this array doesn't contain, maybe if you're a user, right? This rows is going to be an array and it's going to just contain admin alone. So since your role is not included in the rows I'm saying should be able to access that route, you can't access it. So if we come back here, so I could say allow, what did I write here? Rows allowed, yes. So I could say rows allowed. Then here I would say that only admins, sorry, admins with small a. Then here, rows allowed would only be users. It has to be under the verify auth. So what did I write here? So yeah, this is going to be a middleware. So router.use roles allowed. So I could just copy this, come to the users and paste it. So here is users that are allowed alone. So we have our time fast spent already. I'm not sure. Let's see. We won't be able to test this out throughout. We won't be able to test everything out here. But let's just try npm start. Oh, and it's using node, not nodemon. So we're having some issues, which is, so it's saying requires a middleware function. I think this should be from here. So let's check. Okay, so we've spent a lot of time on this class already. So in our next class, right, we would figure out what the issue is, and then we would also test out all the things that we've done, right? So in our next class, we are going to complete everything, whatever is left, whatever is not working now, we'll complete it then. So do you guys have any question? No question. Any question? Okay. So, right, in the absence of any questions, we can call it a day. So thank you very much for coming out to today's class, and I'll see you by the next class. Thank you.